In this video, we're going to go over adding employers for worksite placement, and payroll upload. When you log into Illinois WorkNet and click on the Customer Support Center, you're taken to the Groups page where any group that you have access to is listed. Usually we would have you click on the group Apprenticeship Illinois, but we want to access the Worksite Placement tab at the top. So on the groups page, you're going to click up at the top and click on the bulleted list icon for Worksite Placement. I've already clicked it, so I have landed here on the Worksite Placement tab. Before you can add Worksite Placement, you need to click on the Employers tab to check to make sure the employer that you want to add the Worksite Placement to is already listed. So clicking on the Employers tab, you're going to filter by project, Apprenticeship Illinois, and your agency name, and you're going to look in the list to see if the employer is listed. If it is not, click on the Worksite Placement tab. You're going to filter by your project again and by grantee provider name, and you're going to click Add Employer Worksite. On the first tab again, it's going to have a list of all your employers, and you can just filter through as many pages just to see if it shows up. If it's not there, click Add New Employer. So now it's going to ask for the name of the employer. The name of this employer is Will's Welding and Iron Wholesale. The next question asks if the employer is this employer the work site. In some scenarios, the work site is separate from the employer. So if the work site is separate from the employer, you're going to leave this box unchecked. And after filling out this entire section, it'll take you to the next section to fill out the work site information. But in this demonstration, the employer is the work site, so I'm going to check the box. Next, you want to provide a description of the employer. I'm keeping my description very generic for welding and iron sales, but you'll want to put in as much detail as possible for your description. Next, you can put in a website URL. Then it asks for the NAICS code or the NAICS code. If you do not know what that is, click on the info bubble. And NAICS stands for North American Industry Classification System and why it's used. So the info bubbles provide more information. So we need to look up the NAICS codes. So go ahead and click Look Up NAICS, and we're going to type in welding and click Search. And so we have welding and soldering equipment manufacturing. So we're going to go ahead and click Select. And when we click Select, it fills in the NAICS code box as well as the NAICS title. Next, it asks for a primary phone number for the employer. It asks for a secondary phone number if applicable, the address, and then it asks for the primary contact. So you would type in the primary contact for that employer. Again, I'm going to type in joe@noemail.com, but you would want to put in the correct email address. And then if the primary contact had a separate phone number from the employer, you would type it in here. If they had a secondary phone number, you would type it in. And then after all of this information is entered, click Next Step. And we can see because we checked that box that it's the same, it takes us to the next section. So it says add worksite placement information. So it's bypassed the select worksite because we checked that box that it's the same. But if we hadn't checked that box, it would make us fill out worksite information. So now it asks to look up the SOC code. So again, we're going to enter in welding and welding, soldering, etc. So we're going to go ahead and select this one. And it fills in the title as well. I'm going to type in, again, welding and iron sales, but you would type in the information, the correct description. Employment type. So this employment type is explains how it'll be completed. So it depends on if it is a pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship or a full-time job. So we're going to say that this is a pre-apprenticeship. We're going to say that the hourly wage for placement is going to be $15.50. Total number of openings, we'll say 2, and estimated length and week, we'll say 4. After you have all of this information entered, click Finish. And now on the Worksite Placement tab, filter by project and your grantee provider name, and we can see that Will's Welding and Iron Wholesale shows up. Our agency, the worksite, the job, the total number of openings. And finally, we're going to go over how to upload payroll. So click on the Payroll tab. And you're going to select the project and select the agency. Next, you're going to click Add Payroll. It's going to have you put in the period start date. So I'm going to say May 18th, the period end date. I'm going to say May 31st. And then it's going to have you download the payroll template. So the payroll template will open as an Excel, and it'll have the organization name, enrollment category. You would put in the correct worksite name. So this has Wren houses, but you would type in Will's Iron or Will's Welding and Iron. And then the WorkNet ID for the participant that is working there. The last 4 of the social, the pay period start date, pay period end date, hours worked. If there was a subsidized wage, if there was an unsubsidized wage, and then the hourly wage. And then once you have all of this information in, you're going to save it to your desktop or wherever you plan to save it. And then you're going to close it. And then you're going to click the Upload Payroll Template button. You're going to choose the file from wherever you saved it, and then click Upload. And here we can see that the payroll was updated, number of customers, total wages, Payroll has errors? No. If there were any payroll errors, it would let you know. And then you can view payroll records or you can remove it.